The North Atlantic, 1565. A storm is brewing. Not just any storm, but a ferocious Arctic gale, a maelstrom of ice and wind that can tear a ship to pieces in minutes. On the deck of a 700-ton Basque galleon, men scramble to secure the rigging, their hands raw and bleeding from the cold. They are thousands of miles from home, in a world of icebergs and polar bears, a world that is actively trying to kill them. They are not explorers, not conquerors, they are whalers, and they are here for one reason: to hunt the great whales, the leviathans of the deep, and to extract the precious oil that will light the lamps of Europe. This was not just a job, it was a war against nature, a brutal, bloody, and incredibly dangerous profession. For over a century, the Basque people, a unique cultural group from the mountainous region between Spain and France, dominated the global whaling industry. Their maritime prowess was legendary, their ships and sailors the most advanced in the world. They sailed from the coasts of the Bay of Biscay to the frigid waters of Labrador and Newfoundland, establishing a commercial empire that was as vast as it was secret. They were the first to industrialize the hunt, the first to turn the slaughter of whales into a global commodity, a full century before the famed whalers of New England. And they did it all with a handful of simple, elegant, and incredibly effective tools. How did they do it? How did they survive in one of the most hostile environments on Earth? What tools allowed them to hunt 60-ton whales from open boats, to process their blubber on frozen shores, to navigate treacherous waters without modern technology? These are not just historical artifacts. They are a testament to the ingenuity, the courage, and the sheer, bloody-minded determination of the Basque whalers. Tools to trust, skills that last. This is Bushcraft Arsenal. Number 1. The Whaling Galleon, the floating fortress. The journey to the Arctic was a survival ordeal in itself. The Basque whalers sailed in massive galleons, or naos, averaging 700 tons. These were not sleek, fast ships. They were slow, lumbering beasts of burden, designed to carry hundreds of men and thousands of tons of cargo across the treacherous North Atlantic. The San Juan, a Basque galleon that sank in Red Bay, Labrador in 1565, is a perfect example. Discovered by archaeologists in 1978, the wreck of the San Juan has given us an unprecedented look into the world of 16th century whaling. The ship was 27 meters long, with a beam of 8 meters, and it could carry a crew of 120 men and over 1,000 barrels of whale oil. These ships were floating fortresses, self-sufficient communities that could withstand the rigors of a 6-month voyage. The hold was packed with provisions, barrels of cider and wine, hardtack biscuit, salted meat, and dried beans. The crew lived in cramped, crowded conditions, with little privacy and no comfort. They slept in hammocks slung between the beams, and they ate their meals on deck, huddled around small fires. But the ship was their lifeline, their only protection against the unforgiving Arctic environment. It was a world unto itself, a microcosm of Basque society, with its own laws, its own customs, and its own hierarchy. The galleon was also a floating factory. The deck was a chaotic scene of ropes, barrels, and equipment. Below deck, the hold was a cavernous space, designed to carry the hundreds of barrels of whale oil that were the ultimate prize of the voyage. The ship was a testament to the Basque genius for shipbuilding, a masterpiece of Renaissance engineering that was perfectly adapted to its purpose. It was slow, it was ugly, but it was strong. And in the 16th century Arctic, strength was the only thing that mattered. The galleon was a symbol of the Basque commitment to their craft, a floating fortress that allowed them to project their power across the ocean and into the heart of the frozen wilderness. Life aboard was a brutal, monotonous routine, punctuated by moments of sheer terror. The food was abysmal, the work was backbreaking, and the threat of disease, especially scurvy, was ever present. But the galleon was their home, their castle, and their only hope of survival. Number 2, the chalupa, the whaleboat. If the galleon was the fortress, the chalupa was the sword. A small, open boat, about 8 meters, 26 feet long, and 2 meters, 6.5 feet wide, the chalupa was the primary weapon of the Basque whalers. It was a masterpiece of naval architecture, a light, fast, and incredibly maneuverable vessel that could be rowed by a crew of 6 oarsmen and a captain. The chalupa weighed only about 400 kilograms, light enough to be launched from the deck of the galleon and carried up onto the beach. The chalupa was the key to the Basque whaling success, the tool that allowed them to get close enough to the great whales to strike the fatal blow. The chalupa was a marvel of 16th century technology. It was built of oak with a unique hybrid construction, clinker built above the waterline and carvel built below it. This design gave the boat both strength and flexibility, allowing it to withstand the incredible stresses of a whale hunt. The chalupa was a multi-purpose vessel used for both whaling and fishing. It was a testament to the Basque genius for boat building, a tool that was perfectly adapted to its environment. The design was so effective that it was later adopted by other whaling cultures, including the famous whalers of New Bedford. The crew of the chalupa was a well-oiled machine. The 6 oarsmen, their bodies hardened by years of labor, propelled the boat through the water with incredible speed and precision. The harpooner, the most skilled and respected man in the crew, stood in the bow, his weapon ready. The captain, or steersman, stood in the stern, using a long oar to guide the boat and to give commands. The hunt was a ballet of violence, a carefully choreographed dance between man and beast. The chalupa was the stage, and the whalers were the performers. It was a dangerous, deadly game, a game that could end in an instant with a flick of a whale's tail. Number 3, the whaling arsenal, harpoons, lances, and drogues. The Basque whalers used a variety of specialized tools to hunt and kill whales. The most important of these was the harpoon, a long, iron-headed spear with a barbed point. The harpoon was not designed to kill the whale, but to attach a line to it, so that the whalers could stay connected to their prey. The harpoon was a symbol of the whaler's craft, a tool that required incredible skill and courage to use. The harpooner, standing in the bow of the chalupa, had to get within a few feet of the whale, close enough to strike with deadly accuracy. It was a moment of incredible danger, a moment when a single mistake could mean death for the entire crew. Once the whale was harpooned, the real work began. The whalers would use a variety of lances, long, sharp-pointed spears, to kill the whale. The lances were designed to penetrate deep into the whale's body, to sever arteries and to puncture vital organs. The hunt was a bloody, brutal affair, a life-and-death struggle between man and beast. The whale would thrash and dive, trying to escape, dragging the chalupa behind it in what the whalers called a Nantucket sleigh ride. The whalers had to hold on for dear life, waiting for the whale to tire, waiting for their chance to strike the fatal blow. The Basque whalers also used a unique tool called a drogue, a small sea anchor that was attached to the harpoon line. The drogue was designed to slow the whale down, to tire it out, and to make it easier to kill. The drogue was a simple but effective tool, a testament to the Basque genius for innovation. It was a crucial part of their hunting strategy, a tool that allowed them to take on the largest and most powerful animals on Earth. The drogue created drag in the water, forcing the whale to expend precious energy, bringing it closer to exhaustion and death. Number 4. The shore station, the try-works and cooperage. Once a whale was killed, the real work began. The carcass was towed to a shore station, a temporary settlement that was the heart of the Basque whaling operation. The shore station was a chaotic, smoky, and incredibly busy place, a hive of activity that was dedicated to one thing: processing the whale and extracting its precious oil. The most important part of the shore station was the try-works, a series of large copper cauldrons that were used to melt the whale blubber. The try-works were arranged in a long line facing the beach, and they were constantly tended by a team of men. The blubber was cut into small pieces called Bible leaves because of their resemblance to the pages of a book, and then it was thrown into the cauldrons, where it was melted down into a thick, golden oil. The try-works were a hellish place, a place of constant heat, smoke, and the overwhelming stench of burning blubber. But it was also the heart of the Basque whaling operation, the place where the whale was transformed from a living creature into a valuable commodity. The oil was then transported to the cooperage, where it was stored in large wooden barrels. The cooperage was another essential part of the shore station, a workshop where skilled craftsmen, the coopers, built and repaired the thousands of barrels needed for a single voyage. These were not just containers, they were precision-made instruments designed to be watertight and strong enough to withstand the immense pressures of the ocean. The cooperage was a testament to the Basque genius for woodworking, a place where simple tools were used to create objects of incredible strength and beauty. The barrels were so well made that they could withstand the rigors of a transatlantic voyage, and they were a key part of the Basque commercial success. Number 5. Clothing and personal gear, wool, felt, and leather. The Basque whalers were not just skilled sailors and hunters, they were also masters of survival. They lived and worked in one of the most hostile environments on Earth, and they did it with a handful of simple, effective tools. Their clothing was a key part of their survival strategy, a carefully designed system of layers that protected them from the cold, the wind, and the water. The whalers wore clothing made from wool, felt, and leather. Wool was the most important material, a natural insulator that could keep a man warm even when it was wet. The whalers wore woolen shirts, breeches, and stockings, and they often had multiple layers of clothing to protect them from the cold. Felt hats, often red or blue, were also common, providing protection from the sun and the rain. Leather was used for boots, gloves, and aprons, providing a durable and waterproof outer layer. The whalers also wore a distinctive red sash around their waists, a symbol of their trade and their identity. The whalers also carried a variety of personal gear, including knives, axes, and adzes. These tools were essential for a variety of tasks, from repairing the ship to building shelters on shore. The whalers were masters of improvisation, able to use their simple tools to solve a variety of complex problems. They were a self-sufficient community, able to survive and thrive in a hostile environment with little or no outside support. Their clothing, their tools, their very way of life was a testament to their resilience and their ingenuity. They were a people who had learned to live in harmony with the sea, to respect its power, and to harness its resources. Number 6. The crew, a brotherhood forged in ice. The most important tool on any Basque whaling vessel was not an object, but the crew itself. A complex social machine, a brotherhood forged in the crucible of the Arctic. Each man had a specific role, a specific set of skills, and a specific share of the profits. The captain, or maestrua, was the absolute authority, a man of immense experience and iron will. Beneath him were the officers, the harpooners, the coopers, and the common sailors. It was a rigid hierarchy, but it was also a meritocracy. A man could rise through the ranks through skill, courage, and hard work. The contract, or parta jarioa, was the document that bound the crew together. It was a legal agreement that specified each man's duties, his wages, and his share of the profits. The harpooner, for example, received a larger share than the common sailors, reflecting his greater skill and greater risk. The captain received the largest share of all, a testament to his authority and his responsibility. It was a system that was both brutal and fair, a system that rewarded success and punished failure. The crew was a family, a tribe, a nation unto themselves. They were bound together by a common purpose, a common danger, and a common hope of riches. Number 7, the unseen enemies: ice, scurvy, and fear. The whale was not the only enemy that the Basque whalers faced. They were surrounded by a host of unseen dangers, dangers that could kill them as surely as a 60-ton leviathan. The ice was a constant threat, a shifting, grinding mass that could crush a ship like an eggshell. The weather was a relentless foe, a maelstrom of wind, snow, and freezing rain. And then there was the scurvy. Scurvy, the silent killer, was the scourge of all long-distance sailors. A deficiency of vitamin C, it caused a slow, agonizing death. The symptoms were horrific: bleeding gums, loose teeth, festering wounds, and a creeping weakness that left men unable to work. The Basque whalers were not immune. They carried barrels of cider, which provided some protection against the disease, but it was not enough. Many men died of scurvy, their bodies buried in the frozen soil of Labrador, far from their homes and their families. And then there was the fear of the unknown, the fear of the ice, the fear of the whale, the fear of a lonely death, thousands of miles from home. The Basque whalers were not supermen. They were ordinary men with ordinary fears. But they were also men of extraordinary courage, men who had learned to conquer their fear, to face death with a steady hand and a clear eye. They sang songs to keep their spirits up. They told stories to pass the time, and they prayed to their saints for protection. They were a deeply religious people, and their faith was a source of strength in the face of unimaginable hardship. Number 8, navigation and seamanship, the unseen compass. The journey to the Arctic was a survival ordeal in itself. A 2,000-mile odyssey across one of the most dangerous oceans on Earth. The Basque were not just whalers. They were arguably the finest mariners of their age. Their most critical survival tool was not made of iron or wood, but of knowledge, an intimate understanding of the sea, the sky, and the ship. They navigated using a combination of dead reckoning, celestial navigation, and an almost supernatural feel for the water. Dead reckoning was the art of calculating their position by tracking their course and speed from a known starting point. They used a magnetic compass, a sand glass to measure time, and a chip log to estimate speed. The chip log was a simple device, a wooden board attached to a line with knots tied at regular intervals. The board was thrown overboard, and the sailors would count how many knots passed through their hands in a given time, giving them an estimate of their speed. It was an imprecise science, a constant battle against the unknown variables of current and wind. To correct their course, they turned to the heavens. Using instruments like the astrolabe and the cross staff, They could measure the angle of the North Star or the sun at noon to determine their latitude. This allowed them to sail west along a fixed line of latitude until they hit the coast of Labrador. It was a simple technique, but it was brutally effective. They were the masters of the Atlantic, the men who had unlocked the secrets of the ocean and turned it into a highway for their ambitions. Their knowledge of the sea was passed down from generation to generation, a precious inheritance that was as valuable as gold. Conclusion: the Basque whalers were a unique and remarkable people. They were master mariners, skilled hunters, and ingenious engineers. They were also ruthless businessmen who built a global empire on the slaughter of whales. Their story is a complex and often contradictory one, a story of courage and cruelty, of innovation and exploitation. They were a people forged by the sea, their culture and their identity inextricably linked to the ocean. They were the first to see the great whales not as monsters to be feared, but as a resource to be harvested. And in doing so, they changed the course of history. Their dominance of the whaling industry lasted for over a century, from the early 1500s to the mid-1600s, when the great whales of the North Atlantic were hunted to near extinction. Their legacy is written in the logbooks of their ships, in the ruins of their shore stations, and in the bones of the thousands of whales that they slaughtered. The tools of the Basque whalers are a testament to their genius. They were simple, elegant, and incredibly effective. They were the tools that allowed a small group of men from the mountains of Spain and France to dominate the global whaling industry for over a century. They are a reminder of a time when the world was a much bigger and more dangerous place, a time when survival was a daily struggle, and a time when the line between man and beast was often blurred. The legacy of the Basque whalers is a complex one, a legacy of both incredible achievement and environmental devastation. They were pioneers of industrial whaling, the first to turn the hunt into a global commercial enterprise. But their story is one that deserves to be told, a story of human ingenuity, courage, and the enduring power of the sea. What do you think was the most important tool that the Basque whalers carried? Let me know in the comments below. And for more stories of survival and adventure, be sure to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.